What's good, everybody? This is your man, Johnnie Mobley Jr., man, and welcome to another episode of Chop It Up, where we talk to great men and their process of how they getting where they got to get at, man. And today I got a very special friend, man. We met probably about a year ago, I think.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Him and his wife, and they do podcasts. We both was pillow talk. We was moments with the Mobleys. We kind of transitioned to moments with the Mobleys now, and not the pillow talk, because y'all killing the bed thing, so ain't no need for me to let's try.
No,
We was gonna go do that, but they gonna be like,
yeah.
oh, they biting JT in them.
Oh man, it's plenty of room out here.
Oh
Man.
yeah, oh yeah. Without further ado, my man, good friend of mine, Mr. JT. Well,
That,
Jonathan Williams, but AKA
yeah,
JT.
JT, definitely. Yeah, that's.
Welcome to the podcast, man.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. Look, before I forget, because I will. Me and my wife want to sponsor 2 people for the dinner. I don't want to forget
Wow.
because if I don't remember, she's gonna be upset.
Wow.
I
I
know y'all
was
the
like,
dinner coming up. We wanted to come, but we can't come that day. But we want to sponsor 2
yeah,
people for it. So
cool, man.
I'll pick 2 people that's like us.
Yeah.
And
But ain't nobody like y'all, bro. We got it. We got it, man. I
yeah.
appreciate that, bro.
Oh yeah,
I
man.
really do, man. And y'all
Yeah.
get a chance to come to the next one, because we gonna have this thing float a little bit.
Yeah,
So
man. Like I was like, bro, man, if it was just a week later,
yeah,
it was just kind of we already had stuff going on. So
it's good.
yeah.
It's good, man. It's good. That's what's up, man. So I'm gonna get started, man. Before I forget, go ahead and tell your queen and the kids. I said what's up. They probably not in the room with you, but
Yeah, they not. They're not home yet. So yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, cool. But I'm gonna get started, man. First thing I usually ask men, it's a big question. I'm gonna ask you this now, and then it's gonna be at the end too. But
Okay.
your definition, the young JT definition of manhood, when you first ever thought about
Yeah. So I was blessed, and I say this a lot, to have older parents. So my mom was 38 when she had me, and my dad was a little bit older. So I kind of got to experience being raised by people even before your generation. Like my parents grew up in the 50s and the 60s.
it. Oh,
So
okay.
60s and 70s. So they came in, they taught me from everything I learned was just like very old school and traditional.
Yeah.
So my first idea I can ever think about being a man was having the provision to do stuff for myself. So I
Yeah.
can remember being 13 and finally being able to work, because back in my city, they allowed you to work when you got to high school in summer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that first day I got to work and was able to make money on my own, like that is when I was like, I'm a man. Like
Yeah.
I remember I remember coming home and telling my mom, like, I'm a man now. I work, I'm making money, and that's my initial thought about manhood was being able to work and make money. So I guess that whole provider mindset, or the go-getter mentality, that's how I was introduced to manhood.
Yeah. That's
So
good. That's good. We're gonna
yeah,
talk about what you think about it now, because I'm
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
interested to hear that. So the JT back in, like, so you said your parents were old school. So let's go back um to the beginning, not very, very beginning, but the beginning
right,
of the JT process of how you began to structure your life and make decisions. So let's
right,
say middle school. You in middle school doing your thing.
right.
Um, what's the whole process and how you stay
Oh,
level headed?
right.
If
So
you had a
luckily for me, I was the only child. But I wasn't spoiled. I mean, I was in a way, but my parents were very, very big on me being better than them. As far as, I mean, we were not struggling. My dad had a great job. Obviously, in Louisiana, oil field money is great. My
yeah,
mom had a job. They were not together, but they had a very good, like, co-parents relationship. So um, I was blessed to have that. But even from a young age, they always taught me, don't be like us. Don't work your whole life for somebody, never have investments, because my parents were, when I was in middle school, they were getting to their 40s and 50s. So they were getting to a point, they looking back over their life like, man, we've been working our whole life and
Yeah.
we really don't have the investments or the college funds saved. So they always were instilling in me to don't, make the same mistakes we make. So
Yeah.
we giving you a pretty good life. You get what you want. You got the new shoes, you got the clothes, but there's more to life than this. There's more to life than working to pay bills like that. So even from an so even in middle school, my parents were investing in my future. They were, obviously I play music. Our whole family was wrapped around the church. So everything was church centric. Almost in church every day, I want to say. So that was a big part of my life too. But literally my whole childhood was focused on being better than being better than my parents. Not in a bad way, but just
Yeah, I got you.
yeah.
I got you. Stand kind of like stand on their shoulders. So them being
Right.
seasoned, that really, yeah, that's a blessing because they were mature enough to
Right.
know some of who they were and what they wanted for you versus,
Right.
Parents who still trying to grow up themselves while they're trying to raise kids.
Exactly. So that's why I said I'm so lucky. Like a lot of people growing up, people was like, man, like I couldn't do a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of stuff that some people with younger parents would do, like, adventures and sleepover. Like my parents are old school. They were traditional. It wasn't that. I didn't have that liberty, but looking back on it, that's probably why, most people don't know I left home at 14. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I went to boarding school. It was like an advanced, like college prep school. So I lived on a college campus from 14. So I
Wow.
was ready to. That's why when I got to college, I didn't have that shock everybody else have when they go crazy and all that, because I had been living on the college campus already. Like, so by the time I was 14, my parents had prepared me to be on my own.
Wow.
So you can
Wow.
kind of imagine the mindset I had at 14. I think a lot of people don't get until they're 18. So I was kind of 4 years ahead.
Yeah. That's good. So the stuff that they instilled in you, you literally they equipped you with it, then you literally used it when you went to boarding school.
Right. Because now the boarding school, granted, it wasn't too far from my house. It was about 20 minutes away. But still, I lived in a dorm. I had to budget. I had to, but I knew how to do this already.
Wow.
Like from the age of, I think I was like 9 or 10, my parents, they would give me allowance. They would teach me how to save and buy stuff. How, I knew how to talk on the phone with people. I knew how to handle business. They put lessons in me that prepared me to live on my own at 14. And it's because my dad had to do that. That's what happened to him. He was working by the age of 16, he was taking care of his family. He was working on the farm, so it was just a generation of just knowledge and wealth and a mindset that was passed down. So I take zero credit for my mindset and, that part. Like they were the best when it came to that. So
that's a seed sold. I Yeah, that's lessons. What you talking about now is lessons probably that we taught our kids once they became adults.
Right.
So we didn't have it in us because we had them at an early age. So we were trying to figure out who we were and trying to figure out how to be parents and trying to figure out how to, keep rules and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's different, man. That's good to know. I never knew that.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool,
it's
man.
crazy that, because if you can imagine being an only child, like I had, man, when the PlayStation 3 dropped, I had it. When the PlayStation 4 dropped, I had it. When I had anything I wanted, but my mom would literally sit me down and be like, "We're poor," and I would be like, "What are you talking about? Like, we got a house, we got a Cadillac, like." She was like, "No, I have to work every day." Like, she was like, and it wasn't until I got to boarding school and I was surrounded by kids of, physicians and lawyers and investment bankers. I saw how they view money. I was like, this is what my mom was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget. This is a very quick story. So we had computers, laptops in high school. Kid accidentally breaks my laptop. We had like pool tables in the dorm room. Pool hit the ball, broke my computer. So me, I'm like, whatever. This dude like, hold on, come with me. Literally, kid you not, on campus there's an ATM. He's like, walk with me. We walk to the ATM, goes to the ATM, gets out $800, hands it to me. His account balance in his account was $85,000 in his account.
Wow.
This is a high school kid. Now I'm like, so I remember I asked him, I'm like, yeah, bro, what's this? He's like, yeah, this is the money my parents give me. They own a couple hotels, so this is my spending money. And that's when it hit. Like,
Yeah.
this is what my mom been talking about.
Yeah.
This is what she been. So I was exposed to an earlier age. A lot of people get to college, like you said, you get older, then you start, as you go into the workforce, you go into life, you start meeting people. You're like, oh, this is what.
Yeah.
This is what. So I was just lucky to get at an early age. So that's the only thing.
Yeah, man. That's a blessing, man. That's a blessing. I know a lot of the stuff that we taught our kids with when it comes to being rich is the mindset, the
Right.
poverty mindset and all that. But I tell them it's a physically rich, the way
Right.
they never have to worry about finances, and that's a whole nother level. But
Right.
it's the poverty mindset as well. So that's crazy, man.
And the thing is, like, two things could be true, man. That's something that I see people argue online about all the time. Two things can be true. It's true that Black people, especially certain age groups, demographics, other minorities, we have been, faced with systemic problems. That is a fact. But another fact is we also can take responsibility and start investing, even if some people are born with, the tools. Some people have to go get it. And it's not fair. I'm not saying it's fair.
Yeah.
It's not. It should, in a perfect world, we would all be born with the same stuff, but it's just not how it is.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm glad my parents were able to have that conversation with me, because it shaped who I was as a man. So even as I got older, I always had that in the back of my head that there's more to this. So yeah.
Wow. So at an early age of 14, you already there. So I don't even know if we need to. So you understand.
I was living on a college campus at 14. So you can imagine how that was.
That's crazy. So as far as that going, the other areas of your life, sports. Did you play sports? Were you in any?
Yeah, so I played basketball. I mean, I'm in Louisiana, so sports is a way of life. You go either play basketball, football, or baseball. It's just a thing you do. So I played basketball my whole life. I wanted to pursue basketball in college until I went to the senior all-star game, and in the warm-up it had 6-7 dudes doing 360. I'm like, yeah, this ain't for me no more. Throughout middle school and high school, I was always on the taller side. But when you get around other taller people, bigger people, I'm like, they playing like this is the only thing they got in life. I didn't like basketball like that. I knew I could do other stuff.
Yeah.
The people I was playing against, some of them, they felt this all they had, and I could tell. So I knew it was I gave up that dream. I probably could have played at a smaller D2, maybe D3, but I knew I couldn't go to NBA, so I was like, yeah, it's pointless. So.
Because you ain't had the love for it like that.
I didn't have the love or the height. Basketball, let's be real, it's about height. I mean,
it is.
Now football is a little bit different. You can be, the 6'1", 6'2" and make it, obviously, but basketball, you got to be great to make it at 6'2", 6'1". So
That's a mature. So at that age, that was a very mature decision, man. So that's pretty much your whole life. You made great mature decisions.
No, that's not. I had a lot of friends though. I have a lot of friends. It's funny you say that really affected them. They thought they were going to the NBA, and when they didn't make it, I know people still who live in my hometown that were the best athletes, all stars, all state, and couldn't make it to the next level, and that just derailed their life.
Yeah.
And so that's crazy, to think about. You saying that just kind of reminded me of some of the people that not making it really just knocked them off course. That was all they had. So
yeah. And I'll go back to what you said, man. Kudos to your parents, because they instilled some stuff into you, man, that just couldn't, a lot of this stuff shake people, man. It'll
Yeah,
shake you.
that's why I said it's a privilege to have one. So it's a privilege to have two parents. Obviously, it's a privilege to have two parents that can work together regardless. Because I say my parents worked together well, even though they were not married, whatever. Because it's people who married don't work well together in the
Oh
house.
man, they don't.
But what that situation did teach me is that I never wanted that to be my story. I didn't want to co-parent.
Yeah.
I just didn't like living with it. I didn't want my kids to go through some of the stuff I went through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a part of it. When you co-parent, one parent will miss some stuff. It's just how it is. Like they're not together.
Yeah.
So mama go see this, daddy go see this. I didn't want that for my kids.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson they taught me without even teaching me. I just saw how they were living. Like I learned what not to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So high school, boarding school, you went to college, college life. You played sports there. How was everything? What was your
college,
mindset there?
so college for me was really different. Because I went to a party school. So in Louisiana, there's two party schools. LSU, a really big party school. In my school, ULL, Universal Lab, that's another party school. But I wasn't even to this day, I still don't like drinking. Not because I'm Christian, not because, and I just don't like the feeling of like a lot of alcohol. I never did. I tried. It's not for me. I'm not saying people who drink are bad. I'm just saying for me, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I would be at a lot of these events like the only sober person, and that's not fun. It's not fun to be the sober guy at all these events. So yeah, my college life was fun. Like I was out. I would go out. I just would be sober. So my friends were the same type of people. You find like-minded people. So I ended up becoming friends with a lot of mature people.
Yeah.
And of course, at universities, mature people usually in frats. So I aligned with people in frats, had friends. I never pledged Greek or anything like that, but I had a lot of friends who were obviously. So my college experience was definitely like I was the cool guy, but not the crazy guy.
Yeah.
I could explain it. Like I was, I go to the events, people would see me, people would know me, but they know I'm not the getting drunk, standing on the table, and then that's not me.
Yeah. So family. Thinking about family. This was planted in your mind already because of your household and you knew what kind of household you wanted,
Right.
as far as co-parenting and everything and some other details you explained. So Miss Nene, she wasn't your first girlfriend, I'm sure.
No. She actually she went to the same university as me, but we didn't meet in college. So she's older than me, so she was a year ahead. So we kind of missed each other on campus. We never.
I remember how you said y'all met, but I want you to explain it though.
We literally kept missing. It's like she worked. So my school, like most colleges, is a food court. She worked at the Taco Bell at the food court. I always went there. I just never saw her. Like our schedules never crossed. I was a science major. She was into at the time she was into music. So completely opposite sides of the campus.
Yeah.
Like you had to drive to the music side. So we never saw each other. So and our groups of friends were completely different. So it was crazy to know like my wife was on campus that whole time and I was dating other girls and all that. And she literally was on campus talking. So it was weird, but it's like, that's just life,
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
Right.
So I want you to tell the story of the great meet.
Yeah. So we met. Crazy story. We met at church. Obviously, I was playing, which is, I encourage everybody to learn some type of musical instrument. Even if you just force yourself to learn it, because you will never be hungry. Like I promise, you will find weddings to play at. You'll find gigs downtown. Like that kept me fed throughout college. So I wasn't doing it for the money, but it was a way to make money on the side in college, and I was doing it. But anyway, I was playing for this concert. She was singing background. She actually was there with her, the father of her child, my stepchild.
Okay.
But anyway, how we met was she was on and we told a story on y'all podcast, but she was on a hoverboard about to fall, and I caught her. I didn't talk to her. I literally just caught her like, oh, maybe about to fall, and kept going. She was skating around the venue of the concert, being crazy, goofy like she is, and about to fall. I didn't even know she had a boyfriend. None of that. It was just boom, like she literally fell into my arms. It's almost like a movie, but that is literally how it happened.
Yeah.
And so from that day, we met again at another concert because by that time we both were doing a lot of playing and singing in the area, so we always would see each other. And then we just started talking, and the rest is history, man.
Yeah, I think I thought that was. I almost thought that was like a God. Well, I ain't gonna say like a God moment, but it was a God moment to kind of force y'all to meet.
It had to be because
both of y'all were on to different days, right?
Right.
Y'all dates was right there.
To say that we went to the same school for almost 3.5 years together, we played and she sung for some of the same churches. We never met. I ended up playing for her, literally. Her sister, and actually it's a cousin, but they were raised in the same house. Right. I'm playing for us, and we still not really meeting.
Wow.
It was like, okay, let me drop her in your arms, and then there you go.
So you can see, yeah, that was crazy.
Right.
That was crazy, man. All right. So from the meet till now, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask you this: manhood for you now.
Right.
If you had to give me a definition of manhood now, everything you've been through from age 14 on up, right, and before till now, right now at this very moment, what would you say manhood is?
To me, it's all about accountability and responsibility. So if you look at, and I'm not gonna get preachy, but the first thing God really gave to man was responsibility.
Yeah.
And as you become a man, you understand like you have to be responsible. That covers everything. That covers protection, all the stuff we talking about. You look for a man, responsibility and accountability. You have to be accountable and you have to be responsible. So for me, as a man, I have to be accountable for my past actions. So right now, we're trying to purchase a house. That means I got to be accountable for some of them stupid mistakes I made financially. I got to be accountable for future things I'm doing. I have to be responsible. That's what manhood is to me. It's being accountable, it's being responsible. Because if you can master those two elements, that's what makes a good man. It's not, I don't think it's anything that is unattainable to people. Because sometimes we say these characteristics that might not fit certain people.
Yeah.
But everybody can be responsible and everybody can be accountable. If you can master those two things, I think you can be a good man. I think it's universal. I don't care what other characteristics you need to work on, what you need to, gain. If you can be responsible and you can be accountable, you could be okay in my book. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Most men, when I bring them on here and we talk about that, those are the two things: security, being able to take care of their family, and the word accountable. Usually, always responsibility always comes up. Nurturing. So and I'm gonna ask you this question. In my mind, I think it's so much more. And for me, living 49 years, it's so much more that manhood is that we don't look at. It's like, we cut off a lot of lanes to what it can possibly be, because we think manhood has to be sprinkled with macho. We got to be macho to do certain things. So if I was to ask you right now, if you was to get out of those lanes, name me some more characteristics that you, per se, we ain't talking about no other man, per se, believe that you have that helps your relationship with your wife, your kids, with your parents, with just in life. How does it help you in life?
So 2 things I had to learn. I'm glad you brought that up. I had to learn how to empathize and I had to learn how to have compassion as a man, because I feel like this is when I realized that I had an issue, and it took my wife to almost knock me in the head. I had this thing, like when my son would, Major, he would come up and run up and hug and kiss on me, I'd be like, stop. Because I was raised like my dad, he wasn't that type of person. It wasn't hugging, none of it. Was just, what's up, son? Like it was, and that was how he showed, because that's how he was showing love.
Yeah.
It was a tough, like, and so for me, I had to realize that's not healthy. I can't let my 2-year-old son hug me. It's not an issue.
Yeah.
It's not like I shouldn't have a problem, but I realized it was like, that's just a lack of compassion. That's like, even with my wife, like I got to a point where I'm a real, you probably can tell, I'm a real, like, just logical person.
Yeah.
So we talked about that today on our podcast. When it comes to conflict, I'm real logical. Like, I don't care about feelings. Yeah. It's bad. It's an issue. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to empathize, put myself in people's shoes and say, okay, that's why they feel like that. Sympathize with people, empathize. Yeah. So compassion, empathy, these are the things. And really, like, just like you said, some of the stuff that we were taught to suppress as men are some of the things that we really need to be complete.
Yeah.
Like so many men, like, and I'm not saying you got to be like crying and emotional. That's not, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's okay to have emotions. You don't have to have this. You're human.
Yeah.
Men are still human. We're not some superheroes that, you know, we you know, our best friend died, we don't care, or we have a bad day at work, whatever. Like, so many men are just like taught to suppress these things. Yeah. And what happens is they keep suppressing it. They don't even realize that it's gonna leak out. It's gonna leak out when they talk to people. It's gonna leak out how they treat people, and they don't even notice.
Yeah.
Like,
that's good, man. That's good. I'm so glad. And because we're having this conversation, that's the first time I asked that question on the Chop It Up.
Right.
So that I'm gonna add that to my questions to ask men, because it's something I don't never bring up, because even with my father, he's old school like that.
Right. Old school.
His communication skills, even when I talk about this on my part, even when I would have called him to talk to him on his cell phone, he would pick up. He'd be like, "Hey, son, what's going on? Hold on, here go your mom." I'm like, "Joker, I called your phone to talk to you. And talk to me."
And I know the older I got, I had to understand that I was able to put it in context of how he was brought up. Yeah. So I had to think about how he was brought up in the 50s.
Yeah.
And now I understand, like, even his outlook on some things. Like, to this day, my dad does not believe that men should wear, like, patterns at all.
Really?
Like, any type of pattern, stripes, anything. Because when he was brought up, that you just didn't do that.
Yeah.
That's what he was taught.
Yeah.
And so, as a respect, some stuff I don't do around my dad, because I know, even though his heart, he means no ill intention. It's just, I understand the context and culturally how he was raised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, me, I'm different. I might have been raised one way, but I've been able to, and that's probably the biggest thing I got from college, was learning how to be around people who don't think like me, who believe different, how to interact with people. Because growing up in the South Louisiana, I didn't see some stuff. And I talked about on my podcast, I didn't see Indian people. I didn't see Asian people. I didn't see that in South Louisiana. Yeah. It was black or white.
Yeah.
I'm telling, like, my hometown, some very small hometown, we still got plantation houses. I mean, cotton fields. Like, I'm from Louisiana, so I didn't see this stuff. I wasn't exposed to it. My father was still, and because he still live out there, so I understand his mindset. You know what I'm saying? But a part of it, like you said, is just about learning. Like, man, I can't continue. Part of being a man, you got to be accountable.
Yeah,
I can't continue to treat my 2-year-old like he's something wrong with him because he want to jump on me and hug me. Like that was like, you know what, he's right. Like, he's 2, like not 22, he's 2. Like,
yeah, that's good, man. That is so good. So, I want you to plug your podcast right now. Let everybody know where they can come and find you, what days you're on, when they can listen to you, everything. I got one more question for you after that.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm the host of the Pillow Talking Podcast, one of the hosts. We are a weekly podcast. We drop on Wednesdays, but you can always listen, any day, because it's up on our website, YouTube, everywhere the podcasts are. Obviously, we're going to have more music covers coming out, more stuff with the kids on our Instagram, all kind of stuff we're working on. But
Yeah.
our brand JT and Nene really is us. Like, so we are all we
Yeah.
do everything. So our brand is us. It's gonna be
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we love y'all podcast, man. We do listen to it. We love Nene when
And we
she
love y'all,
sing.
man.
Yeah.
We,
So
we already told y'all, like, the last time, like, just watching, I think the first time we talked, y'all was sitting in a basement with boxes behind y'all, and we was literally just dreaming of what we
yeah.
wanted to see
Yeah,
it starting
man.
to happen for both of us, bro. I love it. Bro.
Yeah. And we gonna keep pushing, man. So right now, I'm gonna dig in your head right now and talk
Cool.
about legacy, man. So
Right.
right now, how are you creating and developing this legacy? And you already said some of it by adding the kids and everything. And then talk a little bit about how your dad and your mom laid a legacy for you that
Right.
literally they placed you on their shoulders when, like, basically physically.
Yeah, they literally. So my parents, so like I said, I think it's a luxury to be the only child and to have
Yeah.
two parents focus on you because you get all the attention. And I'm not saying in a bad way. So literally, I had the church side of I have my mom's maiden name. I don't even have my dad's last name. So Williams is my mom's maiden name, which is very weird, by the way. But very weird.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Williams, even the last name, the legacy of the preachers and the like, a lot of my family got churches, and just having that last name growing up where I grew up already put me in the mindset of I gotta represent my last name right.
Yeah.
I can't have my parents out here looking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
my dad, he is very involved in the community. He's like a Mason or something. Like, he one of those, like, people that's really in the community, going to parades. So I knew even growing up I couldn't, misrepresent them.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
on top of that, I got a firsthand look at the investment they were making on me. I saw, like, I went to a boarding school. I knew how much it cost. I saw the other kids with me and their parents were rich. And I was like, my parents are investing in me.
Yeah.
So they invest for me to come to college. So I knew, and they weren't, which is crazy to think about. My dad was old school in the fact he was like, when you turn 18, you're grown, bud. But my mom was the opposite. She, to this day, like, it's so crazy. Like, my mom literally hates the fact. She tells me all the time, it hurts her heart that I don't ask her for anything. That's what kind of mom she is. Like the fact that for the last, I don't think my mom has helped me since I was 19, like with any bill, credit, anything. So she say all the time, like obviously we about to get a house. She's trying to, y'all won't help with the down payment. Like, I'm like, Mom, you've done enough. Like that, I respect their investment to get me to where I'm at. You ain't got to do nothing else but relax. But my dad, he was old school. So when I turned 18, he was like, all right, go to college. Bye. Figure it out. I'm not gonna let you. He wasn't gonna let me go hungry, but he wasn't like this. I can literally tell you, it was a vast difference from high school dad to college dad as far as support. So he was old school. Like, once I turned 18 with the college, he pulled that support hand out. He was still there, like, emotionally calling, checking on me. Well, he wasn't saying no more allowance. Wasn't no more, you grown.
Yeah.
So we get back to legacy. I look at that and say, okay, they did all this to get me here. At the least, I have to give my kids double that. You know what I'm saying? I should, so my kids, what I experienced, they should get the wisdom of what I went through should pass down to them in their experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if all the stuff I seen my parents do wrong, do right, that should at least be the basis of their experience.
Yeah.
So now my legacy is, okay, we about to buy a house. We got, investments going. We got businesses going. My wife, does her stuff.
Yeah.
Everything we're doing, we're teaching our kids. Like, our kids come in here sometimes and we're watching, whether it's Dave Ramsey, whether it's whoever, they're watching stuff about money at a young age. Yeah. I'm telling my kids, I'm saving money. So when y'all get a certain age, if y'all want to start a business, I'm going to hand y'all the money to do it.
Yeah.
if y'all want to, whatever y'all want to do in life, we're gonna make sure. So, like for example, it's funny. I wish I could take my camera and show you, but my son drew on the wall. 2 years old. I'm talking about just drawing his heart out. Took color pencils, doing everything. But what I noticed is, like, the first reaction was anger. The second reaction was, this dude is creative.
Yeah.
So what did we do? We like, man, he's drawing on the wall because he has nowhere else to draw.
Yeah.
So let's go support if you want to draw, let's support him. Let's go get him some books to draw. He's 2 years old. This dude literally will sit down and just draw, sit down and play music, whatever it is. Like, I'm learning not to automatically react like my parents would react. Because if I if I would have did anything like that in my mama's house, you know what I'm saying? But it wouldn't have been because her intentions were to, stop my dreams. It's a different mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see the possibility of him, being a designer, doing this, doing whatever. I don't shut down stuff. Anytime I see my kids being creative, I'm like, okay, we can work with that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, as long as it's positive. Like, because I feel like the closer you get to, we are Christians, so I feel like the closer you get to the Creator, the more creative you get.
Yeah,
in every aspect.
Absolutely.
So you can't have a spirit of like Christ or be like Christ and not be creative, not have ideas. And anytime my kids say something, I never wanted to dismiss those ideas.
That's
even from
great,
a young age.
That is so great, bro. And you know what? That right there. So I didn't have that characteristic when my girls was here. That was my wife. Right. Never knew it. She's the creative one, music, this, that, and the other. I don't know what you call me. She always called me the extra deep dude who think way past where you need to be at. Come on back here type stuff. So the way she handled and her relationship with the girls was so unique. It was exactly like that. She gave them the freedom to make decisions, which gave them the confidence to try more stuff. So I think, you doing that doesn't suppress your kids from, well, I just can't never do that again or draw. So you don't know where it's coming from.
And I'm not saying we don't teach them discipline.
Yeah.
In a way where we don't discourage anything.
Yeah.
That's something like I always say. The reason, it's kind of sidetracked. The reason I didn't go crazy when I got out of my parents' house is because they allowed me to do stuff. They didn't restrict me. They weren't, like, for example, when I got to an age when I started liking girls, my parents weren't like super strict. Like, you can't like, they was like, when Valentine's Day, they would teach me, okay, this, you get her a car, you do this. Like, they showed me how to be a gentleman as opposed to me learning from other people what to do. Yeah, that's an issue a lot of parents have. Like, for example, even people with daughters, I don't want you dating. I don't want you, instead of teaching them how to do it, because they go learn, either you go let them do it or they go watch movies, learn from their friends, and they go learn it that way.
Yeah.
And so, you can either develop that character and that character can go everywhere.
Yeah.
Even if let's just say, and I always tell my wife this, we go try real hard not to parent our kids different. As far as like, we're not gonna let our boys do whatever they want and then say, my daughter, you locked in this room.
Yeah.
That's not okay. Nah, they go be parent different as opposed to different things based on their personalities, whatever. But our rules are not gonna be based off society's view on what a man, macho man, like, boys gonna be boys. You go turn up when you 16. Meanwhile, my daughter in here suppressing,
she's 25.
Nobody. Then when she do get out, she go crazy.
Yeah.
And so we are being. I'm telling you, me and my wife, that's something that I'm glad I'm with her, because her experience is different than mine. So she saw the other side, growing up as a girl, woman. That womanhood journey is completely different. Yeah. So we both coming together now. That legacy we gonna leave. I know it's gonna be good because we literally are working on it daily. Yeah.
And I see it. I see it. You talk about it. You excited about it.
Yeah, we read books. We do like having kids, man. Like, and I always tell people, regardless of when you have them, I'm not gonna argue out because some people say you shouldn't have kids. No, we didn't plan these kids, so clearly it wasn't our.
Yeah.
I'm saying this was God. So, but having kids changes your outlook
Oh yeah.
on life, man. Like you
Yeah.
talk about legacy. That's when the legacy starts. So you
Yeah.
got people that you created, and your life changes. If I didn't have kids, we did a whole podcast about this. The stuff we'd be doing crazy stuff. I already
Oh
know it.
yeah.
If me and Nene were married, we would be just wasting money, traveling, doing God knows what. So
Yeah. Yeah,
kids keep
it puts stuff in perspective, man. We say the same thing, and we didn't even share this with our girls. I was like, y'all, they say we the greatest parents in the world, but I like y'all saved our life because
right.
y'all made us think, you made us plan. It's just
That's the crazy thing. Like for me, like Dominique kind of had a head start. Obviously, if people don't know, I married my wife. She had a son, so I married somebody with a kid, so I became a father instantly.
yeah, right away.
Then we had another kid a year later. So
Yeah.
now I go from being a stepfather to a 1-year-old to a brand new man. It was a lot, but
Yeah.
I can literally see how I grew in a 2-year span.
Yeah.
Like maturity, responsibility, like all that stuff, bro. When you got kids,
Yeah,
it's different.
it is, man. It bring out what's already in you, bro.
Oh yeah, bro.
It brings it out. So you would have ignored it if you ain't had kids. You'd have
Yeah.
just fought that feeling and gone.
Oh yeah, I'd have been wild, man.
JT, man, I appreciate you sharing this time with me, man. Learn a lot about you, about manhood, legacy, the whole nine, man. If I haven't told you before, I'm super proud of y'all and everything that y'all doing, man. Keep pushing.
Man.
We here to support y'all.
Man. Oh yeah.
Support y'all through everything, man. So whatever y'all ever need, just let us know. Just let us know, man. And we again appreciate y'all sponsoring a couple. We would definitely let them know, whoever that may be. I'll probably let my wife pick them because I'm a little.
Yeah, let us know. They gotta be cool though. They gotta be cool.
Yeah, they gonna be cool. They gonna be cool. We got
they taking our place.
Yeah.
So they gotta be
no,
cool.
no. They ain't taking y'all place. They ain't taking y'all place.
Taking our place.
No. Ain't number one.
It's for that night.
So they're not taking y'all place, but what they will do, they will take a gift.
Oh yeah.
And then they will show up, and then hopefully they will have fun, man. We'll let y'all know. We go have the whole thing. I think we go record and all. I got to get with the man to see exactly what we're gonna do, but it's gonna be a great time, man. But y'all definitely will be to the next one because we go have them.
Yeah, you gotta keep going.
Yeah, we
I like that idea, bro.
But I appreciate it. Appreciate you spending time with me, man. Appreciate you sharing your mind and your heart, bro. I'm sure there's some nuggets in there that's gonna be that some of these men go really take it and use it, man. And I just really appreciate it, bro.
Thanks, man. You keep doing this. I think it's good to see men talking, man. Like that, just talking. Like we a lot of men don't even talk, man.
They don't. They don't.
Like right now, you probably know a couple of men right now that if you would call them and just give them a platform, they'll talk for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Because they just keep it in.
Yeah. Yeah. And and like I told you before, I'm gonna have segment where we gonna have a panel. We gonna have some questions. So what it'll probably do is we'll have men just ask a bunch of questions, and we're gonna get a panel, and I'll have you and a couple of other guests on there, and we just go take turns sharing our heart, man, and our insight on certain things, man. So I think it's needed. And hopefully we build a platform that have men that want to have conversations. Like it don't make you more man to keep that stuff in.
Make you crazy.
Yeah, that would make you crazy, have heart attacks and pains and all other kind of stuff.
Just because you're quiet.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate it, brother. This has been, first of all, let's plug your website, your podcast one more time.
Yeah,
make sure they get
JT and Nene, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. JT and Nene, and then our podcast, the Pillow Talking Podcast, is available everywhere podcasts are available.
The only podcast
shot in bed. Well, I don't know. I saw another podcast, and like it's not even about anything. But I think they shooting in the bed. So I'm a double check. But we were the only relationship podcast shot in the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
think that was real unique, man. So
yeah.
all right, brother. I appreciate you again, man.
When
Much
this drop?
love.
Like when this come out? What day does this come out?
I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it come out, and then you can
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can put it on your
Yeah.
podcast and let everybody know, man. We'll definitely let you know.
Cool.
All right. So this has been Chop It Up, another episode of Chop It Up with my man JT from Pillow Talk. I am your man Johnny Mobley Jr. Appreciate everybody listening to, man. Y'all just keep watching, keep looking. www.momentswiththemobleys.com on platforms everywhere. Everywhere you can look, just Google it, it'll come up. We appreciate it. JT, I appreciate you again. Has been another episode of Chop It Up. Peace out, y'all.